Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Typewriter Day. You and I used to write our columns on typewriters.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. That's nothing. When I started out, I used a quill. Yes, a quill.
Okay, we're both old enough to remember old school desks when they had ink wells. Remember that?
Yes, certainly. Certainly. Yeah, you could pull the desk up and down like this.
Yes.
I had a kid.
We just lost the
I had a kid in my fifth grade class named Fred who used to spit on the desk and just roll it up and down for hours. I will not give his last name for fear of a lawsuit, but that's what he did for hours at a time. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Thunder has a bright future. Kevin Durant gets dealt, and Big Dumper crushes your Cubs. But we begin today with the Oklahoma City Thunder winning the NBA championship last night in Game 7 over the Indiana Pacers, who lost their best player, Tyrese Halliburton, to a reportedly torn Achilles in the first quarter. Indiana gamely led by 1 point at the half, but the Thunder outscored the Pacers 34-20 in the third quarter and were never ahead by less than 10 after that. Wilbon, let us start with Halliburton's exit and how it affected the game and how it affected you personally as a viewer.
Tony, I'll start with that part because I called you. I was in despair. And I didn't start this with a rooting interest. I mean, Rick Carlisle's the person I know best with Indiana, and I certainly root for them. But all year I thought Oklahoma City was the best team. And I was very neutral. But seeing Halliburton go down like that, Tony, it just took all the energy out of me. I mean, look, I know OKC won a ring last night. Indiana won my admiration. And I think many other people probably feel the same way. And Halliburton, who over the last 3 seasons, I've got to, be around increasingly. And I enjoy him thoroughly as a basketball player, as a burgeoning star, as a young man, still a very young man. He's just thoroughly enjoyable. He's easy to root for, and I root for him. And what he was going through, Tony, he knew yesterday what he was possibly in for. He took that risk on, like great athletes do. So many great athletes, they say, no, I may not get this chance again. Put me out there. I'm willing to risk this. And it turned out to be the worst possible case scenario. When he went down and he was slamming his hand in the wood, I thought it's not the pain necessarily. It's the pain of knowing he can't finish this. He can't do what he has worked his whole life to do. And Tony, I was done. The energy was out of me. I didn't care about the game the same way after he went down. I admired the hell out of Tyrese Halliburton and his teammates.
So you turned away from the game, right? I mean, you had enough. You knew how it was going to end, and you turned away from the game. So let me say this. I believe that when you lose your best player, you can win one game, maybe. One game, not more than that. Tyrese Halliburton, for parts of the last 3 games, had a calf issue that ends up in this way with a torn Achilles. He was diminished for parts of 3 games, and Indiana won one of those games. He had a great start last night. He made 3 threes early on. And then the next thing you see is he's laying on the floor, pounding his hand into the floor. And for me, Indiana fought hard, and they were game, and I too was rooting for Indiana. But I knew there was an inevitability to the way the game was going to end. I knew that the outcome was really not going to be satisfying. I don't blame Oklahoma City for taking advantage of the situation. Of course they would. But there was, for me, sort of a hollowness at the end. And the other part, and I'll just take about 15 seconds here, Tyrese Halliburton wasn't on the bench cheering his team on. He was in the locker room. So if they were looking for specific inspiration, they couldn't get it. Here's a quote from Obi Tobin. He says, quote, "We needed Ty out there. It sucked the soul out of us. I don't think I played well because I was thinking about it the whole game," unquote. And Mike, my guess is that a lot of people on the Indiana team felt the same way. And it's not a normal game where when you get hurt, you take the rest of the game off, you take a day off, you play it. It's Game 7. There's no next. That's
championship. No, Tony. Toppin, I think, expressed the view of a lot of people. I'm sure he did. Let's focus on the champs now. The Thunder are the youngest NBA title team since the 1977 Portland Trail Blazers. Tom, what are your thoughts on what they accomplished And what do you see in OKC's future?
Okay, they were the best team in the league all year. They are a deserving champion. They won 84 games when you combine regular season and playoffs. That's the third most ever. Okay? So they are a deserving team. But just please, don't talk to me about dynasties. I was watching television this morning on this network, and I saw this graphic that said how young they were and how all their key players are signed for the next 50 years and how they have a million first-round draft choices. And, Mike, as you know, the clear inference of that is that, oh, they're going to do this for a long time, to which we raise our hands and we say, hold on a second, Sparky. Hold on, it doesn't necessarily work that way. This is the 7th year in a row with a new champion in the NBA. So there is change in the NBA. Last night's winner, first place team, could end up in 4th, like Denver, like Milwaukee.
Right.
These things happen, and look at who they have to watch out for. They have to watch out for Houston. They have to watch out for San Antonio. They have to watch out for Denver. They have to watch out for the Lakers with Doncic there from the beginning of the season. Okay, these are important things to consider. They had to go 7, Mike, to beat Denver and 7 to beat Indiana. So while I like them and I believe they are deserving, let's not say that they're going to waltz through, because they're not going to waltz through.
Amen, Tony, to every single syllable you just spoke. I'm just going to go back. Let's just go back 1 year to Boston. Oh, Boston's got a dynastic team. Well, they would if Jason Tatum carried an extra Achilles tendon around in his suitcase. You were always one injury, one contract dispute, one locker room blow up away. Now, OKC, for the things it can control, Tony, let me say that I just think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think he's damn near the perfect star. Everything that kid says and does strikes the right tone. The way he comports himself, the way he reacts to things, the way he leads his team, the way he plays. They've got it all for now, and yet, one contract dispute, one Achilles tendon. Guess what? We've seen it. We see it all the time, sadly. Kyrie Irving had this, which might have prevented Dallas. Dame Lillard just had it, which might have prevented. Giannis got hurt. I'm not wishing any of that on OKC. I want them to be healthy and whole and to see how great they are, but
it's not just that. Mike,
people.
It's not just that. The league changes all the time, more than other leagues. Durant is now in Houston. Doncic is starting a full year in LA. Where's Giannis going to go? You think that'll be impactful?
That's right.
Victor Wembanyama comes back healthy. You think that's going to be impactful? All of these things conspire, so we don't want to have a coronation yet. Let's move to the trading of Kevin Durant. Durant goes to Houston in exchange for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. Wilbon, what does this do for each team?
Well, Tony, I think we're mostly concentrating on the Houston part of this because I don't think the Suns got that much. I mean, they got a promising young player. Dylan gives them some toughness that they, let's face it, did not have for some of us who are out here quite a bit in Arizona and watch the Suns almost every game. They need that toughness. The draft pick could turn into something. The draft pick, when you're drafting there now, you can draft, guess what? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Giannis, they're in that mix around that point of a lottery. They were chosen then. They weren't 1, 2, or 3s. Neither was Joker. Neither were a lot of people. Jalen Brunson. You can find a player at 10 that can lead you to a championship. So I don't want to diminish it, but let's not go crazy. This is about Houston. Kevin Durant at this stage by himself can't help a team get out of 12th. I know this because the Suns didn't even get in the play-in. But when it comes to jump shooting, catch and shoot, off the dribble, three-point, mid-range, Kevin Durant is as damn near as good as there's ever been. And he can help them, Tony. The Houston Rockets, and by the way, they are coached by a guy who knows KD and Ime Udoka. They've got everything set up for him to slide in there and help Houston hold steady at number 2 and challenge OKC.
Yeah, so my feeling about this is that Houston, stole somebody from Phoenix, just stole them blind. I disagree with you on a bunch of these things. Jalen Green is a very, very good player, but he's a guard. And he's going to join a team where there already is an established guard, Devin Booker, and an overpaid, overrated, and maybe untradeable guard in Bradley Beal. They would be great in a 3-on-3 league, but this is the NBA, and I don't think it helps them very much. Dylan Brooks is a suspension waiting to happen. He's a great defender. He's a fierce physical player, but he's not a difference maker unless it's a great team. Unless it's a great team, he's not a difference maker. I disagree with you on number 10. I agree that it could be a great pick. It also could be garbage, and second-round picks are completely useless. No, it's all about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, and you know, Mike, that I think he's often a miserable person, somebody who's unhappy wherever he is. But he also always gets 25 points a game. Always. Let me stress this. Okay? Yeah. Somebody's going to say he's 37 years old. Did you see any diminution of skills? No. There has not been any diminution of skills. He's a great player. Now, in 2 years, Mike, he's going to say, I hate it in Houston and get me out of here. But how about this coming year? This coming year, he could be great. He could be great. Let's take a break. Coming up, what's the word for what Big Dumper did to your Cubs, to their pitching,
Is he Big Dumper? Is that who he is? Did Keegan Bradley win the Travelers or did Tommy Fleetwood lose it? I'll tell Joker and Jalen Brunson you don't think much of second-round picks. I'll be sure to convey that message to them.
I don't. I actually don't. They got lucky on those picks. But Kevin Durant, he can still play. He can fill it up.
You can't get lucky unless you have the damn pick.
We're load managing the email box, so we have subbed in the tray of tedium, which I hold up for people to see. The tray of tedium. And let me see what's first.
That?
Whoops. I just dropped the first one. And magically, it returns to me, and I put on my glasses, and I read. As we kill time, I can't even open up my glasses. What is the word for what Cal Raleigh is doing right now?
He's yogiing right now. And Cal Raleigh is a catcher for the Seattle Mariners. And he went to Wrigley Field, and I know the wind was blowing out, but goodness, there are a lot of home runs. There are like 20 home runs in that series. But Cal Raleigh hit 4 of them, 6 for 12 with 4 home runs, and won that series 2 out of 3 for the Mariners against the Cubs, who don't have to go to St. Louis, only 3.5 games up instead of 5.5 games up. So I'm very nervous about that. Cal Raleigh, I didn't know he was the Big Dumper. I didn't know that was the same guy. All I know is he's big, he's strong, he's like Mickey Mantle. He's on pace to hit 66. He won't do that. But he can hit more home runs than any switch hitter since the Mick. But I'm more concentrating on being a catcher and supplying that kind of power, which I associate, Tony, and you would too, with Yogi Berra and Roy Campanella and Johnny Bench. Carlton Fisk, I guess. Yeah. That would be the group he's in right now. Wow.
Yeah, I can't hear the name Cal Raleigh without thinking of Big Dumper, which is a fabulous nickname. It's right up there with Fairway Jesus. As you say, he's got, 31 home runs, and we're still in June. The pace is for 66. I would take the under on that. But the record for a catcher, Salvador Perez, is 48. And I would take the over on that. I'd take the under on 66 because he's a catcher. Take the over on the 48 here.
What about switch hitting? What about your boy, the Mick? Is he going to catch the Mick?
That's remarkable. No, that's too many home runs. And a catcher is harder than the outfield. Things have a way in baseball of slowing down, Mike. In 1969, Reggie Jackson had 37 home runs at the All-Star break. And he finished with 47. So my word in describing Cal Raleigh now, I would just say I would look at him with caution. With caution, okay? Let me get the next one.
Wish there had been some more caution at Wrigley over the weekend.
Did Keegan Bradley win the Travelers, or did Tommy Fleetwood lose it?
Yeah, I mean, Keegan Bradley, who's the next Ryder Cup captain, and he's playing essentially at home, a place in Connecticut you probably have played there, where he went as a kid with his dad to see the tournament. And he had like fervorish chanting of USA, and people were going crazy for him. And I felt for Tommy Fleetwood, who I just sort of like. I never even met Tommy Fleetwood. But Tony, he had a chance to win this and win his first time on the PGA Tour, but it seems sort of unfair to keep calling that out when Tommy Fleetwood's won like 7 times worldwide. It's not like Tommy Fleetwood has never closed in his life. In the meantime, man, Keegan Bradley, he hit it stiff on 18, made the short putt, won, had the adulation. He won it, and now the question is he going to put himself on the Ryder Cup team? Is he going to play well enough going forward to put himself on that team? It's interesting situation.
I will tell you that I think Tommy Fleetwood lost it because he had the lead all day and the lead the day before, and he couldn't close on 18. He had a poor, maybe not poor, but a mediocre approach shot, and then he 3-putted. He didn't fall into a tie. He fell into a loss, and he was 2 over on Sunday, and you can't do that. You can't be 2 over on a PGA Tour, you know, if you're not Oakmont
well, not on that
and win
course.
on Sunday. It doesn't work that way. No, nothing. So Keegan Bradley, he won it. He was, I think, down 3 with 4 holes to play. I think he birdied 3 of his last 5 holes. But the subtext that you're talking about is the story here. It's the Ryder Cup thing. He can legitimately, as the captain, put himself on the team. Totally legitimately at this point. And he does it with the satisfaction of knowing that he just went head-to-head and beat a guy who's going to be on the other team in the Ryder Cup when it's at Bethpage. And I mean, Mike, what if they played against each other on Sunday? Do you think people would watch that? Because I know that I would watch that. I would definitely watch that. So, I mean, the entire subtext to me is the Ryder Cup. He's won that tournament before. It's the only, I think it's the only tournament played in New England, and he's a New England kid. I think he grew up in Vermont, maybe?
Grew up nearby. By the way, Tony, I know you were watching that. I watched it too. But the women in the PGA Championship, Minjee Lee, I mean, she was one of only 3 women under par for the tournament to win again. And she's right up there with a small handful of active players who've won that many, 3, I believe, major championships. So shout out to Minjee Lee for that.
Email tray now empty. Let's take one last break. Still to come, Shohei does more Shohei things.
And umps eject Coastal Carolina's head coach in the first inning of an elimination game. Seemed a little dramatic.
That's brutal. I have to say that's brutal. That's just brutal. Happy time, people. Happy 46th birthday, LaDainian Tomlinson. The Hall of Fame running back led the NFL in rushing yards twice and in rushing touchdowns 3 times. Tomlinson was the league MVP in 2006 and was first-team All-Pro 3 times. He is the Chargers' all-time leader in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and all touchdowns scored, 37 more than Antonio Gates. Tomlinson is 7th all-time in rushing yards, 2nd all-time in rushing touchdowns behind Emmitt Smith, and 3rd all-time in rushing and receiving touchdowns behind Jerry Rice and Smith. Tomlinson holds the single-season NFL rushing touchdowns record with 28 in 2006.
Tony, if I do my top 5 running backs of all time, Jim Brown, Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Tomlinson, and either Marshall Faulk or Barry Sanders, I get bogged down. That's 6 guys. But that's some list, and people don't even realize how great Tomlinson was all that time.
Happy anniversary, John McEnroe. Around this day 44 years ago, in the middle of a first-round match at Wimbledon with Tom Gullickson, McEnroe shouted out his now familiar catchphrase, "You cannot be serious," while arguing a line call. The now iconic line is so tied to McEnroe that he used it as the title of his 2002 autobiography. For fans of Only Murders in the Building, McEnroe has a cameo in season 4 where he utters the line. McEnroe, of course, is one of the greatest tennis players ever. He has an open-era record of 155 career titles, 77 in singles, 78 in doubles. This includes 7 majors in singles and 10 in doubles, including a mixed doubles at the French with our friend Mary Carrillo.
Tony, I know Mac wasn't the greatest player of all time, but he's my favorite player of all time. And now, a lot of great former players talking about tennis as broadcasters. I'd rather hear Mac and Chris Evert probably than anybody all the time, every match if they could do.
Agreed. Happy trails, Coastal Carolina. LSU won the Men's College Baseball World Series by beating Coastal Carolina in back-to-back games. The Chanticleers had won 26 straight games entering the finals, but fell 1-0 on Saturday, then got beat 5-3 on Sunday, with the home plate ump ejecting their head coach and first base coach in the bottom of the first inning. Seriously, what was that? LSU went on to hand Coastal Carolina starter Jacob Morrison his first loss of the season. You may remember that LSU was just 1 out away from getting eliminated by Arkansas in the semis, but are now champs for the 4th time this century.
Tony, if Blue gets knocked down in the field to play, somebody's got to get tossed. I don't care what the inning is, and I don't care what's at stake. Somebody's going.
Quick to the big finish. Angels manager Ron Washington out indefinitely with an undisclosed health concern. Your thoughts?
He's expected back later this season, reports are, Tony. We certainly hope so. Rafael Devers homered against the Red Sox again Saturday as the Giants took 2 of 3. Your thoughts?
Big acquisition. Carlos Alcaraz won the Queens Club Championship. Is that a big deal?
2-time defending Wimbledon champion seems to be rolling in to the All-England club again. Shohei struck out 2 in 1 inning of work, then added a 3-run triple and a 2-run homer. I know you're impressed.
Yeah, if he pitches like he pitched, he's the greatest baseball player of all time. Last one, U.S. men's national team beat Haiti for its 3rd straight win. Do you find that significant?
The game might not have been significant, but continuing to play well, given what they've been up against, that is significant, the Gold Cup.
We are out of time, and we will try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, knuckleheads.
Historic pace. We're joined by
Tony and Mike with PTI's bonus topic.
Okay, Wilbon, what team makes the most sense for Giannis next season?
Tony, there are probably a few, and a lot of them think they make sense. But to me, sense means you have the assets enough to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, but you also have enough left to put on the floor and have him be a contender once you get him. And not many teams have that. So I'm going to focus on one team, and that will be the San Antonio Spurs, because they've got the 2 and 14 picks in the upcoming draft, in Wednesday's draft. So not only do you have the 2 and 14, but if you're Milwaukee, you got to say, wait a minute, I'm not just getting picks. I need 2 players. Okay, boom. You have Devin Vassell. You have Keldon Johnson, 2 guys whose salaries would offset Giannis's and help you do that. And if you're San Antonio, when you get Giannis, you've got Fox, Castle, Sochan, Barnes, and Wembanyama. You got a complete team you could put out there. So Milwaukee is not feeling like they've been just taken advantage of. They got to start somewhere. But San Antonio's got assets to put out there with the big fella.
You've been on San Antonio since Wembanyama was going to be drafted. You are looking for them to win championships to justify your feeling that he is a generational player. And I understand that. I don't know that they can get him. I'm not going to talk about where he fits best. I don't know, and I don't care at the moment. What I care about is the context of Oklahoma City here. And the people who think Oklahoma City is going to immediately be a dynasty because they won this and they've got a great leader in Gilgeous-Alexander. But the NBA changes all the time. In the last 24 hours, Kevin Durant just went to Houston. Some months back, Luka Doncic left a place you never thought he would leave, and now he's with the Lakers, and the Lakers can attract people to come play there all the time. If Giannis and Wembanyama comes back healthy, if Giannis goes somewhere, wherever Giannis goes, they're going to be a contender because he's an MVP and a champion. There aren't that many of those. So the people out there who look at Oklahoma City and say they're going to do this for the next X amount of years, no, it's not how it works in the NBA. There is change all the time in the NBA. And as you and I both know, you are a great team is one Achilles tear away from just being a good team. Yeah. So wherever Giannis ends up, that is a contending team, another team Oklahoma City has to worry about.
But Tony, how about the region, the division, and in the region of Oklahoma City, Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston? I mean, if you're those teams living nearby and they're all nearby, you're looking at OKC saying, wait a minute, we don't want to let them get too far ahead. San Antonio, I'm just saying, they got a history of it. That's it. We're done. Back to you.